Okay, well, let's go ahead and we'll get started.
Okay.
So we're going to do a shorter warm up and a shorter Shavasana. So at the end, if you want a longer Shavasana, you can just go ahead and continue to lay there. Since you're the only one today, you can just continue to lay, and I know that you'll want a longer one, and I'll be quiet and sign off.
Yep, sounds good.
Sometimes I do very long Shavasanas at home. But so go ahead and come to a comfortable seat if it's in Sukhasana, cross-legged, maybe it's sitting on the feet. And most importantly, we do want to go ahead and center ourselves. So you can close the eyes if you'd like to, or just soften them, letting the gaze come to settle on a spot in the floor or mat in front of you. Just kind of check in with how you are feeling this morning, how you're feeling in the body, how the mind's feeling. And maybe taking a few deep breaths here. So nice, full, deep inhale in. And then exhale, let it go. Because we're not in an enclosed space with other people, you might feel a little bit more relaxed to do an open mouth exhale. Just take a few moments to let the breath come in and out on its own accord. Feeling that sensation of the inhale and of the exhale. We'll slowly flutter the eyes open, making our way on to our seat. If you're sitting on something, moving to the side, but if you do have a blanket, we're going to extend the legs out in front of us in Dandasana, staff pose. I always like, because I have a very tight back, to bring a blanket. So if you have a blanket, a towel, maybe a small pillow, just bringing that underneath the sit bones, help tilt the pelvis. And then imagine that pelvis kind of coming to a more neutral position. Spine is nice and straight, hands towards the side. If the palms can't touch, maybe the fingertips or the hands can come onto some blocks. Drawing the elbows back. We'll inhale, lifting the arms up towards the sky. As you exhale, lowering that right arm down, left arm reaches up and over. Feel that left sit bone rooting down through the earth. On your next inhale, coming up, letting that hand rest on the side of the head, using the arm, the hand is just weight to kind of draw the head down. And see if you can drop the shoulders just a bit more. Releasing the hand, bringing that left leg in towards the torso, keeping that spine nice and long. Take that left arm, either wrapping it around the leg or maybe the elbow comes to the inside. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, twisting towards the right. Go ahead and come back towards center. Keeping that leg bent, bringing the hands behind. So the fingertips are pointed either towards you or out towards the side. We're going to press into that left foot, into that right heel, lifting the hips up. So we're kind of in a reverse plank / table. You can let the head maybe extend back. I've got a shelf behind me, so my head's not going to come back too far. Lift the hips up a little bit higher, giving a nice stretch to the shoulders. And on your exhale, slowly release down. Extend that left leg long again, Dandasana. We'll inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, left arm comes down, right arm reaches up and over. Rooting through that right sit bone, open up the right side. As always, you can bring some movement kind of into it, opening up the body, getting into those tight places that might be holding on to some tension. On the next inhale, go ahead and come up. Right hand to the outside, just placing it on the side of the face. And releasing, right leg comes in, hugging that right leg, lifting up the chest, the front and the back of the ribs. So feel the whole kind of torso lengthen here, and then twisting towards the left. And back to center, hands again behind, fingertips pointing towards you or out towards the side, and then pressing into that right foot, pressing into that left heel, dropping the head back if you'd like. Really focus on lifting that chest up, opening the shoulders, pressing the mat away with the hands. And then the next exhale, slowly coming down with control. Go ahead and take the legs, extend them both. Go ahead and maybe circle the ankles. Bringing the soles of the feet in. So they're about a little bit more than hip distance apart or hip distance apart. We're just going to kind of windshield wiper them side to side. As I settle to the right, so go ahead and hold in there just for a moment. You can even kind of move your hands around, seeing where you can get into tighter areas in the hips. And then towards the other side, holding there for a few breaths. And back to center. Go ahead and come onto your hands and knees into tabletop. We'll just do a few cat-cows here, kind of warming up the spine. So starting with those wrists underneath the shoulders, and then knees underneath the hips. Emptying completely of breath. So as you exhale, round that spine up towards the ceiling. See if you can exhale a little bit more, raise the spine just a little bit more, and then inhale, slowly lower the belly down. Pull the chest through, lifting the chin to wherever it feels good. Continuing with your breath and just letting your breath kind of guide you here. Adding on any additional movements that you'd like. And then taking our hands, we're going to step them forward. So we're more in a modified plank pose. Go ahead and tuck the toes under. And then as you inhale, lift the knees up off of the ground. We want to press into the fingertips of our hands, pressing into the mounds of the palm towards the insides of the index and thumb webbing. And then doing a little bit more of that cat-cow action. So exhale, round the spine with the knees lifted. On the next inhale, straightening the legs just a bit more. Drop the belly down. Hold here for your exhale, rounding the spine. Next inhale, straighten the legs a little bit more as you come into your cow. Exhale and round. Inhale, straighten a little bit more. So we're making our way to our down dog. Slowly but surely. And then when you get to down dog, you can go ahead and pedal the feet, sway the hips, whatever you normally do to kind of sink in. Let the hamstrings start to waken up, the calves. Remembering our hand activation, our Hasta Bandha, pressing into those fingertips, pressing into the mounds. On our next inhale, go ahead and shift into plank pose. Lower the knees down, and we'll lower our torso all the way down towards the mat, nice and slow. So keeping those elbows behind the wrists, seeing if we can keep kind of this straight line from our shoulders all the way down towards our knees. And then hands coming out towards the side, elbows reaching up. So on the fingertips, elbows reaching up towards the sky. As we inhale, lifting up, and think of like a string being attached to the back of the heart, and that being the first thing that starts to lift up. So inhale, lifting up, kind of that upper back lifting, shoulders, heart, the head being the last thing to come up. And then as you exhale, slowly roll back down. Feel the lower ribs come down, the chest, and left ear comes down towards the mat. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale, again, think of the back of the heart lifting up first. And exhale, slowly rolling back down. This time the right ear comes down towards the mat. 2 more times with the breath. Exhaling down. Last time. Inhale, lifting up. Maybe coming up a little bit higher this time. Exhale down. Right ear comes down towards the mat. We'll take our hands, bringing them towards the back. So you can either have the fingertips reaching towards your feet or interlace the fingers, and then see if you can bring the heel of the palm to touch. Index fingers pointing down towards the toes or towards the heels. Lifting our heart and our feet up off of the ground, Shalabhasana or locust pose. Think of drawing those elbows towards one another. Even if the arms are extended back, the hands aren't interlaced, just think of drawing those elbows, shoulder blades coming towards one another, back of the neck long. Hold here for 3 more breaths. As you inhale, feeling that sensation of the breath coming into the belly, possibly moving you around. And then on your next exhale, slowly releasing. Instead of flopping down, see if you can slowly let go, slowly come down. We'll take our hands and bringing them towards the front of the mat. So left arm, forearm kind of parallel with the front of the mat. Take that right leg, draw it in, grabbing the toes. Maybe you grab the ankle. If you have a strap, this can also come in handy. And we're just going to draw that heel towards the glute and then pressing the front of the pelvis in towards the mat. Getting a nice little stretch to the quads. And then we'll release that leg, other side, right arm comes forward, left heel comes in. Pressing the pubic bone down towards the mat. You can let the forehead kind of rest on the forearm. And releasing that leg. Bringing our hands underneath our shoulders. Going to press back up into our tabletop or into our modified plank pose. And then tucking the toes under, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Walking our feet towards the front of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Go ahead and bend the elbows, grabbing opposite elbows. And then draw that right elbow forward, right hip coming back, opening up the right side of the body, maybe even bending that left knee back to center. Left knee, or excuse me, left elbow comes forward, left hip comes back. And then back to center. Inhale, slowly lifting the torso up, either straight spine or rounding up. Reaching out towards the sky, getting that length. Exhale, draw the hands down towards the heart. Go ahead and take a few breaths here, feeling a sensation of your feet on the mat, maybe kind of moving around so you can kind of feel that connection throughout the whole foot. We'll inhale, bring the hands out and up towards the sky. And then exhale, folding forward. Inhale, straighten and lengthen the spine. And then exhale, hands come down. We're gonna go ahead and step back into our plank pose and then press right back to downward facing dog. We'll inhale, bringing that right leg up towards the sky. And then exhale, bringing that knee towards the elbow. As you do so, go ahead and feel the shoulder blades moving away, kind of rounding the spine. Inhale, lift up. Do that 2 more times. Exhale, round it in, knee towards elbow. Inhale up. 1 more time. Exhale, round it in. Inhale, extending up, keeping that right hip down. This time, as you exhale, bringing that foot forward to the front of the mat. If it doesn't make it there, just grab that ankle, move it on up, and then lowering that left knee down towards the mat. So we're in a low lunge. We'll go ahead and bring the torso up, hands coming to heart center in Anjali. So we're going to take our hands, kind of opening them up as a book, bringing the back of the hands together, fingertips coming in towards the heart. As you inhale, lift the hands up towards the sky. So the back of our hands are facing towards one another. Continue to bring those hands behind the ears, circling down, hands either and coming behind you. So you can either grab opposite elbows or again, find the palms towards one another, bringing the heels of the palms together, index fingers pointing down towards the floor. Inhale, lengthen the spine, draw the elbows towards one another, and then exhale. Maybe you start to bring a little bit of a back bend into this, if that feels okay. We're gonna hold here for 2 more breaths. Can you still hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
One of my AirPods just went dead. So I think the other one's gonna work, hopefully. 1 more breath. And then releasing the hands. Go ahead and bring them down towards the mat. Tuck the back toes under, lifting that back knee up, and we're gonna straighten the front leg. So we're in a modified pyramid pose, a little bit longer. Back heel's probably still up. And then straightening the front leg as much as you can. If you have some blocks, you might wanna grab the blocks and you can kind of bring them there, lengthening the spine. And have a micro bend in the front knee if the hamstrings are not liking this. 1 more breath here. And then the next inhale, we'll bend that front knee, lifting the torso up, crescent lunge. So our arms reach up towards the sky. Take the pelvis, bringing it into neutral, so bending that back leg if you need to. Holding here, 2 more breaths. Inhale, exhale, warrior 2. So drop that back heel down. Front foot might kind of inch over towards the center. And then with that knee in line with the toes, hands reaching out towards the side. Turn this way. We'll inhale, straighten the front leg, bring the arms up. And then exhale back to warrior 2, bending the front leg. As you come into it, knee in line with the toes. Inhale, lift up. And then pause here for a moment. See what your pelvis is doing. So a lot of times as we come into this from our warrior 2, if we have a tilted kind of pelvis, as we come up, we kind of hold it here. So we have this opportunity when we straighten this leg to go ahead and even the pelvis. So bring that right hip up, left hip comes down, and then see if you can keep that as you come back into warrior 2. You might feel it a little bit more on that back leg. 1 more time, inhale, straighten the leg, straighten the pelvis, and then exhale, bend the front leg. Go ahead and inhale, straighten the front leg, keeping the arms out towards the side. Reach forward, drawing that right hip back. And then arms just rotating here. So keeping that right side nice and long. Rotating the hand to wherever it rests on the leg. Maybe it comes down to a block. Reaching that left arm up, or maybe it's on the hip. Think of the crown of the head reaching forward, so lengthening the torso even more. Inhale, we'll lift back up into warrior two. So bending that front knee, lifting the torso up. See if you can lift that right hip up so it's level with the left. And then exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands down towards the mat, stepping back into down dog. So back to plank and then hips up and back. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So inhaling, left leg comes up. Exhale, round the knee in towards the elbow. 2 more times. Last time. And then planting the foot, low lunge. Dropping that right knee down. Inhale, lifting the torso up, Anjali Mudra, so hands coming to heart center. Opening the hands like a book, bringing the back of the hands together, rotating the fingers towards the heart. Inhale, lifting up. And then exhale, bringing the hands behind you. And grabbing the elbows, maybe the back of the hands, just rest on the sacrum. Index fingers pointing down if they're interlaced, maybe switching the grip of your hand. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, option to bring a back bend with light. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then releasing the hands, hands coming to the mat, tucking the back toes under, lifting that leg up, straightening the left leg. It's a pyramid pose. Keeping those legs long. Micro bend in the front knee if needed. Drawing that right hip forward, left hip coming back. And then bending that front knee. Inhale, lifting up into crescent lunge. As always, arms can do what feels the most comfortable, so they can reach up, they can come on goalpost, they can come to heart center. And then the next exhale, warrior two. Reverse my direction again. So as you come in, knee in line with the toes. Inhale, straighten the front leg, arms reach up. Go ahead and draw that left hip up so the hip points are level with one another. And then as you exhale, bending back to warrior two, noticing how that knee is tracking. 2 more times with your breath. Remembering those transitions are just as important as the postures. To see if we can still move with intention. Our last time, warrior two. Go ahead and straighten the front leg. Then reaching forward. Go ahead and rotate the hands. Keep that left side nice and long. And then pulling, rotating the chest. So taking that right shoulder, bringing it back. Next inhale, we'll bend that front knee, lifting up warrior two. And exhale, cartwheeling the hands all the way down towards the mat. Step that front foot back in the plank pose. And then lowering the knees down towards the mat. Looking at the time. Okay. So we'll go ahead and bring the legs, swirling them around. So they're out in front of us again. And just hugging the knees in towards the chest. And we'll slowly lower down onto our backs. So you can go as fast or slow as you'd like. You can maybe extend the arms out, coming through Navasana, boat pose. Maybe you're already on your back. And when you get down to the bottom, go ahead and bring the knees in towards the chest one more time. Give a little circle to the knees, massaging the back of the pelvis, the back of the sacrum. Go ahead and let the knees fall over towards the right. Arms can be out towards the side. And then we'll bring the knees back through center, letting them drop over towards the left. And then back to center. One more little squeeze, maybe draw the forehead towards the knees. Kind of tensing, I like to tense the body here. Even the face, squeeze it in. And then on your next exhale, coming into Shavasana. You might bring just the soles of the feet to the mat, knees falling in. You might want to extend the legs long. And we'll just take our last minute or so, kind of letting everything integrate into the body. Feeling the sensation of the breath. It's an important time of not really having to do anything, not needing to even worrying about the breath. With our morning practices, I also like to take this time to maybe set an intention for the rest of the day. Feeling gratitude start to wash over the body. Lifting our practice up to something higher than ourselves, so that the benefits of our practice not only benefit ourselves, but to all that surround us. Like I said before, you're welcome to sit here for a little bit longer, or if you're ready, you can make your way back to a seat. Bring our hands together at heart center. Let's take a nice full deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. Namaste.